It's me again, Star. So, something I've been thinking about lately is Mega Man toys. Or rather, the way Mega Man toy lines seem to develop, and how they often tend to fall into some of the same traps. I guess I mention this mostly because Jada has been making Mega Man action figures now, with Wave 1 finally starting to release. And forgive me if the point of this video is a little bit jumbled. I'm not always the best at organizing my thoughts. But I do have a specific point in mind. Namely that I'm not sure if the people that make Mega Man toys are ever entirely aware of just what it is that people want. Though I guess that's kind of a highly subjective thing, and not everyone's gonna want the same thing. Okay, let me back up a bit here. One thing I tend to notice is that Mega Man toy lines have a very hard time sticking to just one series. I think about the only time this wasn't an issue was those really old 90s toys based on the Ruby Spears cartoon. But my knowledge about those figures are so incredibly limited that I don't think I have any right to talk about them. I will say, however, that a cool thing they did was actually give us Robot Masters. Something that's been very rare for Mega Man toy lines to do until somewhat recently. I think mostly kicked off by 4-inch Nell. Hoo boy, I really am all over the place with this topic though, aren't I? But yeah, there's two things that are often an issue, at least in my opinion, when it comes to these toy lines. One is that these companies can't seem to stick to just one series, and the other is that the toy lines often get flooded with variants or repaints of Mega Man himself. Or X and Zero, as is the case for toy lines that feature MMX, which ends up being many of them, even if they don't start off that way. Heck, Funko's extremely short-lived Mega Man toy line started off with Wave 1 consisting of Mega Man in 2 different colors. Like, what? Though at least it had Dr. Wily as well. Okay, so let me try to just stick to one specific toy line to try and make this video a tiny bit more focused. And I guess Jada is the best one to talk about, as they're one of the most current and offer pretty good quality figures for a reasonable price. Now, this is all just my own opinions as per usual, so feel free to disagree if you wish, but I'm just saying it how I see it. So, one thing I feel that Jada is doing right is concentrating on Robot Masters. So few toy lines have actually given us Robot Masters that it's honestly a breath of fresh air to have a line almost exclusively dedicated to them. However, each wave is 2 Robot Masters and Mega Man. We're coming back to the whole thing about a line being flooded with variants and repaints of Mega Man. I certainly see where Jada are coming from, as June mentioned in various interviews, not being sure if people would even be interested in other characters and only being interested in Mega Man himself. But this, definitely, to me, feels like a lack of understanding of what Mega Man fans want, or at least I think so anyway. But I guess I can't really speak for an entire fandom myself either. But I do often see people wanting their favorite characters made into plastic form. And at least for me, it's a bit frustrating to have to buy yet another figure of Mega Man himself just to support a line, when I'd really like to fill out the cast. Personally, I'd keep Mega Man in Wave 1, and then the slot he takes up in other waves could be filled by other non-Robot Master mainstays such as Roll or Proto Man or Dr. Light. Heck, even characters like Plum or Duo. Or am I just dooming the toy line myself by suggesting such deep cuts? Granted, it's not like that's gonna even happen anyway, because, I don't know, I'm feeling a bit discouraged due to a recent interview with June, where he admitted that Roll is low priority since she's not one of his personal favorites. And, I mean, I don't know, it's just, since she is one of the main recurring characters, you'd think that she would have at least some kind of priority, but he specifically said she's not one of his personal favorites, and so she's very low priority. And don't get me wrong, I am ecstatic over the focus on the Robot Masters, but, you know, there's still lots of characters. I mean, I know the role has gotten some figures, but, you know, just kind of expanding it on even characters that are other characters that are part of the main cast. There's plenty that haven't gotten figures before, like Dr. Light or Otto or, Well, my main point is that as much as I really do love the focus on the Robot Masters, it would be nice to get more characters that are part of the main cast, and it's just a little disheartening to hear that, like, one of the most central figures in the main cast is low priority, But, that is what it is. Well, whatever the case, the main Light family should at least be a priority. And listen, I know repaints and such are important to make the most out of molds and such, but I really don't like the way that Jada is making them be part of the main line. They're not doing that with Street Fighter. Figures like Evil Ryu and Player 2 Ryu have been exclusive figures and aren't counted as part of any wave, and I'd prefer it if any repaints of Mega Man were the same. Can you imagine how much longer it'd take to complete the Ultra Street Fighter 2 roster if Player 2 colors were part of the regular waves? Especially now that we know Player 2 repaints of Chun-Li and Fei Long are on the way too. I'd give Evil Ryu and Violent Ken a pass, but I guess in that same way I'd probably give Copy Mega Man a pass too. But, yeah, both the abundance of Mega Man recolors and the desire to expand into Mega Man X could lead to another line that doesn't give us a complete cast of characters. And this isn't me hating on the X series, by the way. I just wish these toy lines would pick a single series and stick to it. Though, on the topic of X, I'm now thinking about Kotobukiya. I'm ecstatic that they're going to be releasing a figure of Sigma, but you know what? Look at how many different figures of X and Zero, and only of X and Zero, that we've gotten to get here. And this is, of course, not counting the fact that Koto's been making figures of other series. I mean, they started off with the original Mega Man series, but like so many others that start off that way, they end up branching out into the other series as well. So, I guess I've rambled long enough. I'm gonna try to leave this in closing. I guess just a sort of hopeful thinking kind of thing, but not something I'm fully expecting. For Jada, I'd like them to concentrate specifically on the original series, and to give us characters like Proto Man, Roll, Bass, Dr. Light, and Dr. Wily, in addition to many great Robot Masters. Similarly, I'd like if Kotobukiya stuck to the X series and gave us characters like Guile, Iris, the other Navigators, Sigma, which will finally be happening, and also, if they did like how Jada's making figures of Robot Masters and apply that to Mavericks. But I really don't think any of this is gonna happen the way I'd like it to, but I can dream, right? Oh well. If nothing more, I've at least gotten my thoughts out there, and if someone in charge of any of these toy companies somehow comes across this, maybe it'll spark something. And if not, well, I still got to vent a little. I'm still looking forward to the stuff these toy companies are coming out with. But that's about as much as I have to say on this topic, so I guess it's time to bring this video to a close now. So, yeah, I'm gonna try out my new outro screen that I'm gonna try to implement in all of my videos from now on. So I think I'm going to cut to that right now. Alright. If you have any comments or anything, feel free to drop them down below. And thanks again for watching my videos. I'm still a bit new to this sort of thing, but this is like, I'll keep making videos, and I'll keep improving, and I'll keep getting better at this, and glad to see that there are some people that are willing to listen to my opinions and want to hear what I have to say, I guess. Anyways, yeah, I guess there's not really anything else that I can say with any of this, so I'm just gonna go ahead and stop it here. And yeah, this has been Fanciful Dancing Star, and I'm out. Laters.